world leaders and a man in a suit and a little red hat are meeting at The Hague. You see, it's that time where Nato, it assembles. And they've assembled at The Hague, and one little man in a suit with his little red hat. Donald Trump, the US president. Dum-dum that he is. He should stay behind. He should, and be judged for breaking international law. Ain't it bad enough he's broke his own constitution and laws of the United States? The man should be tried, he should. Hung, drawn and quartered, keel-hauled, if you like. I'd be quite happy with the stocks, quite frankly. And to see the passers-by chucking tomatoes at Donald Trump. Or maybe Big Macs, whatever. Well, a lot has happened in the last few days. There'll be a lot to be discussed. And unfortunately for Ukraine, it might be taking a little bit of a backbench. It might. They'll obviously be talking about Iran. They'll be talking about Donald Trump saving us all with his attack on Iran. What a load of bollocks. What a load of bollocks. All a diversion. A diversion away from his own failure as President of the United States. So everything's a distraction. Just another dead cat. But the host of NATO, Mark Rutte, oh there, he ain't happy with the fact that he destroyed the Netherlands' economy. No, he wants to make it worse for everybody else by fluffing the Trump. Literally getting down on all fours and bending the old Trump boy over and suckling on his old chocolate starfish. That he is. That's what Don Mark Rutte's doing. It's painful to see. Painful. I used to have a bit of respect for Mark Rutte. Not anymore. What is wrong with people who can't speak the truth? Okay, Emmanuel Macron, he'll speak the truth. That he will. Hence, he did offend Donald Trump. That he did. Oh, there. Oh, well, never mind. Now, there have been some developments for Ukraine, but also for Canada. Elbows up with the European Union. So here in Europe. You see, as far as NATO's concerned, I have my doubts, and so do many others, and quite frankly, Donald Trump hasn't exactly been very clear on that, whether or not the United States would honour Article 5 anyway. Attack on one is attack on all. I don't think he would. I don't think he'd get involved. The only reason why he's interested in NATO at all is just somewhere else where he can spout his rubbish. Make us all suffer listening to him for excessive periods of time. At least when Mark Carney hosted him in Canada, at least it was brief. You see, he ran away because he didn't want to meet Zelensky. He didn't want to meet the President of Australia. And Emmanuel Macron upset him. So he left early for a game of golf instead. Now, sanity does exist. Okay, it does. But it exists at maybe arm's length, if not much further away from Donald Trump. And this isn't an attack on the United States, although it's been taken at a rather downwards tumble for many years, with the sanity or lack of. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, 32% of the voting public voted for Donald Trump. That does not instill a lot of confidence in the level of intelligence of the average American. In fact, it scares the living jeepers out of me. What the hell is going to happen next? If you vote for a man like that, it's just next step to, well, whatever. Well, you see. Oh, dear. So, Mark Rutte, he made the post, he did. He said how fantastic Donald Trump was and how he's made the world a safer place. So Trump posts on his Truth Social Mark Rutte's congratulatory text message. Oh dear. In it, the contact saved as Rutte congratulates Trump on a decisive action in Iran that was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. The contact then goes on to say Trump is flying into another big success in The Hague. I hope it's the courts. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed on to 5%. But that's not all bad news for Ukraine. All Canada, in fact, there's been some developments, some quite interesting developments. It's not all about Mark Rutte. He's even given the symbol of the hole that I like to call the chocolate starfish, if you know what I mean. Yes, he's demonstrating Donald Trump. I was right here, I was. Yeah, right here. Anyway, quick, put it back in. Blimey. So, the NATO summit expected to be a triumph for Trump and deflating for Ukraine. I don't think there's going to be much at all for Ukraine. There's so much other stuff going on. Everything is a distraction. So Donald Trump was expected to fly into NATO's summit in The Hague on Tuesday, which he has now, and perform a victory lap. They're waving to Iran after decades complaining about the European defence spending with the help of Mark Rutte, NATO's new Secretary General. Allies are ready to sign up to a target to raise, in most cases, the core defence spending to 3.5% of GDP, even though Donald Trump wanted 5%. But you see, there's been other developments which kind of ostracises Donald Trump and his United States. See, countries are already saying, sod you. They are. They're saying, okay, we're going to cancel our orders for the F-35. We're no longer use your Tomahawks. We're no longer going to use your ASAMs. They're finding alternatives. I mean, all know the real reason why they want to up, Trump wants to up the NATO spending. It's all because before we're buying everything from the United States. And we're getting your GDP up, isn't it? Quickly. But you see, Canada, Mark Carney, Ursula von der Leyen, and the guy with the yellow glasses, I can't remember his name. It does say here somewhere. There it does. But anyway, Antonio Costa, that's it. He's the head of the European Council. So Canada has signed a wide-ranging defence pact with the European Union, as Donald Trump and global instability prompt traditional US allies to deepen their alliances. Yes, we're pushing away from Donald Trump. They're no longer suckling his chocolate starfish. No. Now, the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Monday joined the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and the head of the European Council Antonio Costa in Brussels, where they signed a security and defence partnership. They pledged more support for Ukraine. So there have been some positives, as well as joint work on issues from the climate crisis to artificial intelligence. Now, Carney, a veteran central banker, well, he was our Bank of England governor, did a marvellous job. Won a stunning victory in April, yes he did. And he has made it quite clear that Canada will no way become the 51st US state. What a fucking thing to say. Oh, sorry, to your neighbours. You're threatening them with invasion. How, how, how is that ever going to be taken? Man's a blithering idiot. So, there's a 150 billion defence fund, and that the EU Canada Security and Defence Partnership opens a door to increased Canadian partnership in the EU's fledgling 150 billion defence fund. You see, what's happening also? What we're seeing is many countries are now increasing their military, not just spend, but military innovation. We'll get into the Ukraine in a moment in this video. So there's more innovation, more money being spent, more money going into your own coffers to help your own people, instead of into the bloody United States, just so they can arrest some poor sod and chuck them in bloody El Salvador gulag somewhere. Now, von Leyen said that the defence partnership meant that working on joint capabilities is stuff that Canada's great on, stuff obviously a variety of different countries in the EU are great on. Look at Rheinmetall, who building tanks and other munitions and also artillery, all sorts of shit they're building. Clever sots, they really are. In fact, their business since Donald Trump has become the president of the United States has tripled. And this was about even a month ago I reported on that. It tripled in size. So can you imagine? It's just going to keep on growing. In fact, car manufacturers and other factories that were struggling a little bit, or they got some space in their production lines, capacity, well, they are taking on contracts with Rheinmetall. It's just going to get stronger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And hopefully at one point, in the future, we'll be able to compete with Russia's war machine. They are building missiles left, right, and bloody centre and stockpiling, which is very, very worrying. To say that I was on Ukraine, Russia is not going to go into Europe. He's building it, even though he's depleting his stocks, he's building them up faster than he's using them. And that's with a country that's finances are literally shot. So we should be worried, we should be concerned, and we should be spending the money where we need to. And also developing these defence pacts with other countries around the world, such as Canada and Ukraine. And look what's happening to poor Gaza, for Christ's sake. All this stuff's going on with Iran and what have you. And just for a distraction for Donald Trump. Oh, dear me. Now, this is good news for Canada. It's obviously going to increase their potential GDP. Obviously, their GDP is going to be hit hard because of Donald Trump's bloody tariffs. Fucking idiot. He's also destroying his own economy. Now, countries have a defence and security pact with the EU, can take part in a joint procurement of weapons funded by the 150 billion euros, or about $173 billion, and it's called the SAFE programme. Now, although they must negotiate further technical agreements, von der Leyen pledged that both sides could swiftly launch talks on Canadian access to joint procurement schemes. This is all about trust, isn't it? It's all about trust. You can't put your faith in Donald Trump. I say Donald Trump because this is Donald Trump's America. This is his Project 2025. Ostracize the world and become insular and become, I don't know, maybe some sort of dynasty. Be the Trump dynasty. And I know people think their constitution will hold up, but it's going to be funny. It's been pretty much fucking destroyed at the moment. And I know there's the political system of voting and the midterms and stuff like that. It's not something you can very easily just dismantle. You're going to try and tell me Donald Trump wouldn't try. So I've got my doubts that he wouldn't. Would. I believe he would. Okay. So, now, the two sides have 125 billion trading at the moment already. and that's under the CETA Pact. Now, there is about 10 EU countries that currently are not in or have ratified CETA. And that actually includes France, where I am, Belgium, France, Italy, and Poland. Don't mean to say they won't. France would be a good one. No, they would. But this is just opening doors, isn't it? It's opening doors for Canada. It's opening doors for EU member states. It's improved our security. It means also we've got potential intelligence as well. We can't rely on the United States on that anymore. They say, oh, don't give it here. I'm going to give it to Putin instead. Now, when I say about Ukraine, so Canada's been doing very well recently. With joint alliances with the European Union. I know it's all about NATO at the moment, but we're going to be swamped with bloody rubbish from Donald Trump and how fantastic he is and how he should be getting a probe. No probe. No, his Nobel Peace Prize. What the feck? That man is deluded. He's on another level, he really is. Anyway. Oh my God, he's dangerously funny. He is. Now, Ukraine and the European Union defence, well, basically, they've also signed a pact. Okay? Joint Ukraine-EU defence is a strategic win for both. For the EU and Ukraine. Now, why is that? Well, I don't need to go into detail of this because pretty much it's about a security pact between them in the sense of technologies and stuff like that. When you consider what you see, we in the EU, we have got the means and they've got the ways. I mean, they're so advanced now with their drone technology. That's all battle tested. They are smart. They've even got balloons, like weather balloons up there with drones just waiting for a Shahed drone to come. That's how they can just launch on and blow up a Shahed drone, Russian drones. They are clever. They're so innovative. They create drone subs, drone boats. Obviously, they're flying drones. They've developed drone tracked things. I think they're tracked, or they walkers, or whatever they are. And these things to get just to take munitions and supplies to the troops or individuals or whatever, or get people out. So they just innovative bunch. I've got so much admiration for the Ukrainians. I really have. It's a case of that you've been I don't know, wedged in the corner, aren't you? Sea bite, Donald Trump's more like rats in a sack, isn't he? That's more Donald Trump, but it doesn't it goes further than this. You see, that this might not seem like much. So Ukraine to become the first non-EU country to join the roaming area. Now, the roaming area is obviously for mobile phones and what have you. This is actually very important for Ukraine. And also for anyone in the future who wants to travel there. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, especially Russia invading Ukraine anytime soon. But for the Ukrainian people, this is actually really good news. Really good news. It's so from January 2026, Ukraine can officially join the European Union EU roaming area, enabling Ukrainians to text, call, and surf the internet across 27 EU countries at no extra cost. This step will significantly reduce mobile communications costs and help maintain Ukrainians displaced by Russian invasion stay connected with friends and family. Also might help with Ukrainian munitions that require connection. We want Ukrainian citizens to stay connected to their beloved ones across the EU, as well as their home country, said European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. So it's all part of that various agreements they've been making recently, including defence pacts. So it's all sort of like moving in the right direction. And then you got Donald Trump and him. I've got so much faith in this geezer. I read Mark Rutte, the head of current head of Nato. He's disappointed me big time. So yeah. Anyway, that's my little video. And just to put it out there to you, if you haven't already heard, I talked about this yesterday, that it was rumours that it wasn't effective, the bombing on Iran by the B-2 bombers and the bunker busters, the 14-odd bunker busters and the 30-odd Tomahawks, and it did not destroy anything. It made a mess, but it didn't destroy their capabilities. It might delay them a month or so, but it hasn't actually destroyed it. Well, CNN are now reporting on it, so, you can make your own mind up, can't you? Early US intel assessment suggests strikes on Iran did not destroy nuclear sites, sources have said. Told you that yesterday. People are still going on about it. Made the world a safer place, apparently. Yeah, bollocks. Absolute bollocks. All it's done is made them even more determined. Even more determined. And if you want any more evidence of that, when you just look at Ukraine. The illegal invasion of Ukraine's made the Ukrainian people very, very determined. Well, there's a will, there's a way. That there is anyway. Please poop the old like button. And maybe subscribe to the channel and the little bell icon, so you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. Oh, don't forget to tick the old, the bell notification there as well, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket. Oh, crikey. Saucy. Oh, but you're excited, aren't you? Anyway, just watch chatting on Patreon or buy coffee. Links down below. There's also memberships and what have you as well. So, links down below. Couldn't do the channel without your support. I really couldn't. Anyway, toodaloo.